This thing's pretty roached. But they're like 85 bucks new. I think I'm gonna try to fix it. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve. As you saw, I'm thinking I'm gonna try to fix this. This is the last major piece of the bulkhead outside of getting the outriggers or the gussets cleaned up and welded back on. So let's see if I can try to salvage this guy. I mean, really, I don't have a lot to lose other than a couple of bits of metal. Stick around. It'll be a good video. All right, so as you saw in earlier videos when I pulled this out, this thing was really roached, and I mean, there's no denying it. This thing is absolutely toast. But I've got 1, 2, 3 kind of decent sides. This side's pretty bad. And then, of course, the bottom, which is completely just shot. What I want to try to do, though, is see if I can go ahead and salvage this, because, like I said, these things are 85 bucks. And if I can save myself a few bucks, I'd rather take $85 and put that into something a little bit cooler than a battery box. So what I want to try to do is first start by removing this fiberglass, getting down to just the bare metal, taking a look at what we have to work with. And then I'm going to formulate a plan on how I can go ahead and repair these sides. I think I should be able to pretty much weld in some patches, or maybe just get rid of this whole side altogether, or maybe cut it down a little bit, and then just weld a new bottom on. Because really, that's all it needs. It needs this section and then the bottom down here. And I got some steel kicking around. And really, I'm out of big things to patch, so this is kind of bonus steel at this point. So let's get cracking. Let's get this fiberglass out of here and see what we got. Well, that's the bulk of it. This is impressive. I mean, it's actually metal plate. I'm surprised. They just put a chunk of sheet metal in there and then wrapped it up with fiberglass. It smells like my junior high school shop class. All right, cool. Well, let's get that in the trash and let's assess the overall damage. I'm gonna guess that this is probably somewhere around 30 gauge steel. Jeez, bro. That's bad.
Several days later.
Done. All right, so some of you observant folks might recognize that this is a different battery tray. So a couple of days, if not actually a couple of weeks have passed since I started filming this video. Christmas has passed, it is now New Year's, and I got another battery box. I got this from my buddy Kyle out in Washington State because, well, this thing, there was nothing left to it. There was nothing for me to work with here. So instead of fighting with it, I opted for this. And Kyle so graciously hooked me up with it. So there's a couple of spots that need to be cleaned up a little bit. And really, though, I mean, this thing's pretty solid. There's a spot here that needs to be welded. But yeah, I'll take it. This is definitely a massive improvement over what was there before. So the project now is to go ahead and get this cleaned up, get it ready, and weld it on into the Spitfire. All right, so I got a bunch of the caulking that was all around here cleaned up. I had to just take the torch to it a little bit, heat it up, and then scrape it off. What I want to do now, though, is use this new tool that I just got from Harbor Freight. I've been needing one of these. Someone in the comments said that I should really get one, so I went out and I got it. And we're going to give it a try, see if I can just clean up these edges. and then clean up that little weld there, and then just kind of take a look on the inside and see how we are there. I think we're going to be pretty decent. I may just go ahead and clean the metal and then hit it with phosphoric acid and then paint. But yeah, let's start the outside, see how this little mini belt sander does, and go from there. Actually worked out pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'll clean it up a little bit more, but you get the drift. That does a good job. Nice. All right, well, let's take a look at the metal inside of here. Just see how this is. See how quickly it kind of cleans up some of this rust. All right, cleaned up pretty nicely. The edges look pretty good. The inside, though, there's definitely a good bit of pitting, and I see why they decided to replace this. But what I'm going to actually do is now hit this with naval jelly, and I'm going to convert all of this rust and all the pitting, and then I'm going to hit it with Master Series, and I'll probably do a couple of coats of Master Series. There's a little tiny pinhole up in here, but I'm not overly worried about it because the Master Series will fill that right in. As long as we get all the rust converted, I think we'll be in good shape. So let's go ahead and throw some naval jelly in, and let's let it do its thing. We will come back and check on this in about 15 minutes. All right, so I went ahead and gave it its 15 minutes and went ahead and rinsed it. I'm still seeing a little bit of brown schmutz in here. So I think what I'm going to do is give this a quick little dry off with the torch, and then I'm going to hit it one more time in a couple of spots. But I mean, for the most part, it's actually looking pretty decent. So let me just go ahead and get those couple of other little places, and we'll pick up. All right, there we go. It came out pretty decent, so I'm pretty happy with this. And what I'm going to do now is start with the Master Series paint and just give this thing a nice couple of coats, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is going to need probably another coat at least. So I'll come give it one more coat before the end of the night. And then I've got the bulkhead over here pretty much ready to receive it. So I'll end up probably putting a few more drill holes into that just for purposes of having enough bite, and then we'll get that welded in. All right, welcome back. Got this thing painted up. Pretty happy with the result. I did run out of Master Series though, so I actually was not able to get a second coat on, but that's okay because I will end up hitting this with epoxy primer and then actual body coat afterwards, so I think it'll be okay. I did go ahead and hit the bottom side though with some Rust-Oleum enamel. just to kind of give it a little bit of extra paint and protection. A lot of this won't be accessible. In fact, I think, yeah, so this front piece will not be accessible once I install it because it's going to be right up against the firewall. But that's okay. So it's got some paint on there. But the rest of this I'll scuff, and then I will get it covered with some paint when I actually go ahead and paint the inside of the car. So pretty happy with that. Now what I need to do is go ahead and just add a couple of holes for additional plug welds, and then we'll go ahead and get this guy welded in. So let me get that knocked out, and then we will start welding. All right, so I got this in here pretty good. I had to do a little bit of hammering just to try to get it to sit, and it's still not perfect, but I think that as I start welding, I should be able to kind of clamp some stuff and just kind of hammer some of it more into place. So fingers crossed it doesn't present to be too much of an issue. But I think that we are just about at a point where it's time to start thinking about welding this guy in. So I think I'm gonna get myself suited up and let's give this a crack. All right, there we go. Welded in. Pretty happy with it. It's pretty secure. Having a hard time though in this corner, trying to get it to bite. So I think I'm gonna end up having to drill out some of these welds and try again. Everything else though is really solid, but I can push here and you can kind of see it move ever so slightly. So I don't know if that's just the metal or if I just don't have good purchase on some of these welds, which is definitely possible. So it's back in here where I had to kind of fabricate some of the new metal. So I don't think that the curvature quite matches what's up in here. So I don't know what I'm gonna do there, but I'm not overly worried about it because the rest of the thing is strong. I mean, it's not coming out, it's not going anywhere. So let's go ahead and get this wrapped up. All right, well that's gonna do it on this video. This video has taken me 3 weeks to film, mainly because of the holidays and just a little bit of a lack of motivation to get out here and keep cranking away, but we're back at it, and I'm happy with what we got for progress, so I'm pretty happy. Like I said, I still got some work to do on this side over here. I'm going to have to get some longer clamps or something and try to get that clamped down a little bit better so I can really kind of get a good bite on it. So I'll have to drill maybe 1 or 2 more holes just to kind of get it in there. But outside of that, I'm pretty happy with the progress. I was going to try to go ahead and include the gussets in this, but this video is starting to run long, and, well, it's been a little while since I put out a video, so I'll go ahead and I'll reserve that for another video. But the next thing on this to-do list is to go ahead and clean up the firewall a little bit more, just take the wire wheel to it, get it all kind of cleaned up, get the paint off of there, and then clean up the gussets, and then get the gussets welded back on, and then that's going to pretty much wrap up the bulkhead more or less. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you go hit that like button, hit the subscribe, click the bell to get those post notifications. And remember, when working on these project cars, don't be that dreaded previous owner. Cheers.